So this is Confidential Conversations. We're lucky to have Salena Harriman here today, an emerging independent folk pop artist. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
That's good. That's what I want to hear. So we're now in a world where you can make music from your home. You can do everything by yourself, essentially. Mm-hmm. And you did that last year.
I did, yeah.
You put out an EP, Impressions. Yeah.
I did.
How did you find that process? Because you've gone through a lot since then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a long process because how I came to find my love of recording music, I kind of found that through the pandemic because, like most of us, we were all kind of shacked up in our homes with nothing to do.
Yeah.
And so I just started, like, I've always been writing songs, so I just kind of started writing and even, like, just recording, and I thought, wow, I really like this, and maybe I can do something with this. Like, maybe I'll just try recording stuff and maybe releasing it.
Yeah.
Because why not? And so many artists are doing that through distribution services and stuff. So, so I worked on it for, it feels like it was about 2 years.
Wow.
Which is a long process for only 3 original songs and 1 cover.
But you did it all yourself.
I did it all myself, and
Yeah.
I did not know what I was doing. So that's kind of the main thing. I went into it blind.
You wouldn't know that from listening to it, though.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very nice of you to say.
It doesn't sound like you didn't know what you're doing.
Yeah. It was definitely a huge learning curve for me. So I learned a lot doing this project by myself. Because basically what I did is I recorded the vocals, all the harmonies, all the instrumentals that you hear. So I play guitar, I play a little piano, and then the rest of it I kind of programmed with MIDI instruments, which was a learning curve, like I said, because it's a lot. Learning to record, because it's very different. I have experience performing, but actually recording yourself is a very different process. So I definitely learned a lot about that.
What resources did you find helped you through, like, you're using a DAW for the first time, right?
Yes. So I started using Reaper because it's a good first DAW, and it's free. It's not a DAW I use anymore because I've learned a lot, and now I'm kind of using Pro Tools and Ableton, but it's a good one for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, I think. I got some advice from my friends who have recorded music and found YouTube videos and any resources I could, because I truly didn't really know anything about audio or, what a compressor was or anything like that, right? So I was going in as a total newbie. But so yeah, I learned a lot about audio through the process of recording. And yeah, I feel like it was a pretty enriching process for me as a musician. Yeah.
If you went back now, you've learned a lot.
Yes.
What one thing do you think would make the most difference?
What one thing?
If you re-recorded your whole EP, what one thing would you choose to do differently if you had to choose one?
Oh man, I feel like there's a handful of things because, this all happened like it's a few years ago now that I started recording these songs. And so when I go back and listen, I honestly, for the tools I had at the time, it's good work. But of course I'm like, I wish I did this differently, or I wish I knew how to use an EQ properly.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I would change is how I actually recorded the instruments.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I had a great mic. I recorded this whole thing with an SM7B, Shure SM7B, which is a great mic, very versatile. So I think it worked for this project. I think, if I remember, because it's so long ago now, I think I recorded it with a compressor and everything, and I don't know if I would do that. If I was to do it again, I don't think I'd do it like that.
No.
I think I would, the way I actually recorded the vocals in particular, I would change some things about that. Yeah, I think that would be the main thing.
Because you did everything all by yourself.
Yes.
Right? The whole process.
Yeah.
If you could have a team member, if you could go back and have a team member help you out with things, what would you have them do?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'd have more than one team member. The thing is, with me, I'm like, I like doing things by myself. I love a challenge. I'm a little stubborn in that way. But I know that, you know, in retrospect, it would be better if I had a couple of different people helping me. I think it would be good if I had a multi-instrumentalist, like maybe particularly a guitarist. Like, I play guitar well enough, but I wouldn't say that I'm the most incredible player, and I'm sure I could find somebody that could play the parts better and play more interesting technical guitar parts for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think somebody that's more adept at that would have been helpful.
Well, we're kind of living in an age where you can sort of make digital instruments, right?
Yeah.
What is your opinion on programming them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that. I mean, I do it all the time. I think, like, you know, for instance, I don't really play that much bass. I have a bass guitar, but I'm not super comfortable playing bass, so any of the bass that I have on this EP, I just used a MIDI instrument. Like, I think I just used an Arturia plugin, and I found that easier to do it like on a piano, to program a bass part, and drums as well. I mean, drums is a big thing because I don't have a drum set, so I just did that with my little drum pad, and
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine going into writing a whole song with... You have music theory, though.
I have a little music theory background. A little bit.
Well, enough to write chords and...
Yeah,
you know.
enough to, like, I understand sort of chord progressions, and, like, yeah, like, I can make my way in that sense.
What was the most rewarding part of releasing it independently?
Well, I think I feel very proud of saying I did all that all by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I said before, I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
Because it takes too long. I have a lot of awesome people now, like that, and musicians and producers and stuff, sort of as friends that I can get to help me with stuff. So, but I am kind of impressed with how I did all that on my own. You know, it was a little ambitious.
It's doable, though.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If you're just getting started and you don't know where to start,
just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube is great. Like, there's so many great
manuals. It's hard to know what to look up. That was my problem, figuring it out in the beginning, what to write, how to write. Yeah. It was, how do I make my piano sound less, like it's in a different room? Like, how do I make it echo differently? And I don't know that I'm supposed to be looking up reverb. I don't know that I'm supposed to be looking up EQ to make it less boomy. Yeah. You know? Like, I don't even know. I'm just like, my vocals sound odd. I'm Googling things I don't know I should be looking up.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, I feel like those are big things, like the compression, EQ, reverb. Those are three sort of big things to maybe investigate a little bit. So if I'm important, because I didn't really know anything about those things. Yeah. when I recorded the EP, it still you know, it still worked out because I am lucky that I have a pretty good ear. So I kind of know when things
Sound odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like find someone who does know how to use them. I think that was the biggest
I think
thing.
that is true. Like if you can find somebody who knows a little bit about audio or a lot about it, something like that.
Well, you have a network now. You're meeting people more and more as you play. Yeah. Are you playing a lot of open mics and you opened the other night at TO Lounge?
Yeah, so I am playing open mics whenever I get the chance. There's a lot of great ones in the city, and it's a great place to find community and just get up on stage and try new material out. Because it's scary. It's like really fucking scary to do that.
You never seem scared up there.
I can fake it. I'm a good liar. But yeah, it's good just to practice.
Does it get easier every time you're up there?
Yeah, I think so. It's always going to be nerve-wracking for me because especially when you're doing your own material, there's a vulnerability to that. So that's always going to be there. That's doesn't really go away for me, but I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel.
I think stage presence is a huge thing now. I think we get lost in the virtual world a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially you find people on TikTok that you like, or Instagram you're scrolling through, and then you go and see some of these people live and it's disappointing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
interesting.
I was so excited about
There's a facade.
Yeah. But you have a great stage presence.
Thanks.
You
yeah.
do.
I think it's important like to cultivate you know, if you can do a lot with TikTok, especially those like sort of short form content apps, reels and stuff. Are kind of huge right now because everyone's attention span is like
fair enough.
on the ground. Yeah. So you can do a lot, but yeah, if you're looking at it sort of as a more serious career, I think getting up and performing as much as possible live is the way to go because that's where the money is. Would
you say that the open mics have hugely helped that? You've kind of had a stage presence this whole time, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing is, I again with the pandemic, I hadn't been performing at all, so the open mic was sort of my way back into that, and even though it's a little more of a low pressure thing, you're just getting up and singing a couple songs. You're still on a stage with a mic in front of people, and that's something.
Do you ever see people getting up there without an instrument?
Yeah.
Plugging in their tracks and stuff now?
That's a lot of people do that, and that's totally cool. Like a lot of people, they have like an instrumental, they plug it in, they sing, and
that's awesome.
It's super common. Even a cappella.
Really?
I've seen a couple of people. You can kind of do anything.
Because we're digital now.
We're digital.
Right?
Totally.
We're digital.
People do like loop pedals.
Like I would not be up there singing with an instrument. That's for sure. Like
yeah, sometimes because that can be nerve-wracking for sure. I play guitar. I get up there and do it, but it's hard. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, you can get up with a track. Even if you're just doing like a cover. There's a lot of great karaoke tracks on YouTube, right? So
yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that open mics were so chill.
They're so chill, and like in the ones that I've gone to, there's a lot of diverse kind of. You're hearing a lot of different things, lots of different genres, like anything and everything under the sun, which is amazing. And
hidden talent in Toronto.
Hidden talent, yeah.
Yeah.
Like so cool. Like lots of electronic stuff, acoustic stuff, rap, like rock, all kinds of everything. Yeah.
Do you use them to work the kinks out or just get more comfortable with them? Like what's your goal when you go up there and perform your music at an open mic?
I've tried both. I feel like it's more to get more comfortable playing. Though, you know, it is a great space to work the kinks out of a new song.
Yeah.
But that does have an added layer of anxiety to it, because you're more likely to fuck it up. You know, you're more likely to mess it up, and so I
mess up pretty gracefully when you do.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
On the rare occasion that you do.
I try, because the thing is, I've learned from performing so much over the years is mistakes are bound to happen. That's just part of being a human.
People like that.
Yeah, it's sure. It's charming. Yeah, it happens, and it kind of reminds you. It's like, this is real. This is like a real person, and yeah.
Well, so, and what's the worst thing that happens after? Nothing.
No, you were not gonna die.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
That's kind of, you have to keep telling yourself that. So, so it's okay I think it's also, like, what I've learned, especially over the years, is to not take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's important. I feel like more people could learn from that.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do.
It's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard, especially when you're an artist. And yeah, but you gotta learn to laugh at yourself and make mistakes, and because you're gonna make mistakes, so it's not worth, you know, fussing over making a mistake.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned a lot, because I remember I've been in places where I made a mistake and I think about it for weeks. And, you know, I still ponder on I still think about it a lot if I make a big mistake or a flub, even if it's just an open mic. But it gets easier, and people do not care as much as you think they do.
When you find community, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You find community, and that's the best thing about it. Everybody is there to support one another, and so it's a great thing. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Where else are you finding community in the music industry today? In Toronto?
I attended Harris for the production program, so I found a lot of community there, of course. Everywhere. Honestly, like the open mics has been like my sort of sanctuary for finding like-minded people and music-loving people. Yeah.
You're an internship at a studio right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How, like, do you have any advice for people looking for those kind of opportunities, or what you put into them, what you take from them?
Advice, I don't know. Like, I think just talk to people. And I think even just like going to music events, like mixers and open mics and things, and talking to people, even if it's a little out of your comfort zone, it's the best place to find people that are doing this stuff. And they might know people, right, that, you know, work at a studio or something like that. I think, like, this is a relationship business. Yeah. So you gotta really foster those relationships and meet as many people as you can. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
I think that's, like, a big one.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller than you think it is, I think.
Very small.
Everyone seems to know everyone.
Yeah. So it's so true. There's a lot of crossover, especially in Canada. It's a small industry. So
well, it sounds like you've learned a lot in the last year.
Yeah.
Can you think of any other key things that you've learned about the music industry in Canada that you're bringing now into your career?
Well, I mean, I think I've always known that Canada has a lot of talent and musical talent, but I feel like I'm learning more and more how many amazing Canadian independent artists there are.
Yeah.
There's so many I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. This person should be famous, or getting more views or more streams on Spotify or whatever. So I think that's also a big thing in terms of the kind of funding and business side of it. Is there's so many grant opportunities in Canada that I think more people should be taking advantage of. It's not something I've done. I've never, I haven't had experience getting a grant for a musical project, but it's definitely something I will be looking into, like factor grants and stuff. Like, of course, you can do so much on your own at home, but if you want like a more robust project and you don't have the money to do it, there are lots of options for you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a fun question to wrap things up for you.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. If you could go back and see any concert.
Oh my God.
Or tour.
Yeah.
Can you think of one you'd want to go see?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would want to go see any and every David Bowie tour. I never got to see him live, and that's like, I think about that, it makes me so deeply sad.
Aww.
So
ending on a sad note here.
I know, but yes, he's a big inspiration for me. I kind of think he's the reason I'm a musician. So
it's a big weight.
Yeah.
To carry.
So yeah, I would have loved to see him live, but yeah.
Well,
sorry.
I
know. Wah, wah. Very bummer.
No,
but
it's fine.
Yeah.
We made it.
We did it. Yeah.
It's tribute to.
It's a tribute. Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming out, Salena. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me.
That's great. Check our IEP out, Impressions. It's awesome. We'll link it down below.
Oh.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't